love just throwing a shot at people, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's the
You do
structure
that
of
against
it.
15-year-olds in a night. Good afternoon and welcome to Castle Avenue for this Energia All-Ireland League Round 16 fixture. Top of the table, Clontarf face off against promotion chasing Ballynahinch. Weather this afternoon, not a meteorologist, but it looks fairly clear for the time being. It wasn't that in the M50 on the way in as Ballynahinch make their way out. They line out as follows. Rory Butler, George Pringle and Aaron Cairns make up the back three. Ryan Wilson and Mark Best in fantastic form at inside and outside centre. Greg Hutley and Conor McKee make up the halfbacks. Brad Lunny, Zach McCall and Matty Ray in the back row. Cormac Izuchukwu and Captain Tommy Donnan returns in the engine room for the Ballymacarn men. And George Saunderson, Clayton Milligan and Kyle McCall make up the front row. The replacements: former Ireland Under-20 Grand Slam winning hooker Josh Hanlon is at hooker. Nacho Federa, Joe Charles, James Simpson, Chris Gibson and Jack Milligan. As Clontarf make their way to the field this afternoon, their lineup is as follows. Eitzal, Aaron Zana, King, Sene, Riley, Ashiru and Cian O'Donoghue in the back three. Captain Matt Darcy and Mick Courtney in the centre. Steve Crosby and Ben Murphy, the halfbacks. Tony Ryan, JJOD and Mick Carney in the back row. Ed Kelly and Fionn Gilbert, a mixture of youth and experience in the second row, and Ben Griffin, Ivan Soroka and Dylan Donlan make up the front row. David Dowse, Dara Bolger, Paul Deeney, Angus Lloyd and Marcus Sullivan make up the replacements as we observe a minute's silence. Peter Martin, the man in the middle today. Sizable crowd in Castle Avenue. Boisterous lunch, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined this afternoon by none other than Adrian Darcy. We won't call you the brother of Matt, Adrian, but an Energia AIL winner last season with the Castle Avenue side. Great to have you here. How was the lunch before we get to the game?
Yeah, it was lovely. Good food, couple of pints, not more than that. All ready for a huge battle here in the bull ring.
March 4th, Tarf 33-3 winners over Shannon last time out. Hinch with 36 points to 15 winners over Trinity. The state of play: Tarf are top of the table with Hinch in 5th. 5 points at the start of the afternoon behind Young Munsters in 4th, who play against UCD. Steve Crosby gets us underway. A high-hanging kick, but it's well taken there by Clayton Milligan. Back in the starting lineup for Ballynahinch, George Sanderson primes himself for a carry. JJOD met by Cormac Izuchukwu, more affectionately known as Izzy, toured recently with Ulster in South Africa. And McKee with the box kick, high hanging ball. Taken well. Ben Griffin, like all good tight heads, decides not to offload and take the ball in. McCarney plays at 9, hits Dylan Donlan, playing his 16th game of the season. Ed Kelly, former UL Bows man, decides to try and tip it on. Ben Murphy with the carry. Ashiru again, electric when he gets into space. Ballynahinch won't want to give that to him today. Tony Ryan elects to go. Steve Crosby and Fionn Gilbert met by 2/3 of the Ballynahinch front row there. But Peter Martin says that Ballynahinch have gotten over, and decent start from both sides, Edo.
Absolutely ferocious stars. You can just tell this is going to be a massively physical game. Going to be pretty much decided in the pack, I'd say. Both teams going toe to toe in the first few minutes.
Great to have a fellow forward on co-coms today rather than backs telling us how important they are. But we'll see how that gets on through the course of the afternoon. Steve Crosby right-footed. Sends Tarf down the line. And Tarf, normally in this position, will elect to maul. Mick Carney is called a 5-man lineout in the blue scrum cap. Fionn Gilbert in behind, Ben Griffin at the tail, Ed Kelly at the front. Steve Crosby has JJOD, formerly of Old Wesley, Tony Ryan and Matt Darcy outside with Sene Riley Ashiru. Good dart to Riley. Crosby and Tony Ryan carries well. Gets outside Greg Hutley. Tarf looking to get gain line. This is where they're so impressive. Moving out there. Sol King with a good carry, and Tarf make a first venture into 22. Kelly goes out the back again. Tarf intent on moving this Ballynahinch back around. Darcy has a little look inside, met by Maddie Ray, 83 times capped for Ulster. Crosby moves it to OD, a big carrier, but he's met by Zichuku Finch. Crosby again looks for Soroka, has the headband around. I doubt that's fashion to another man who knows nothing about fashion, Ed Kelly. To Murphy again, to Crosby. Darcy slings it right out in the hands of Donlan. Tarf holding their shape well, but that ball moves out, and you can hear from the right hand side that the Ballynahinch travelling support are very happy with their start.
Yeah, it's been a really good physical start, as we mentioned already. But the forwards, in fairness, from both sides, giving it a good crack. And the back starting getting play. Good first phase there from Clontarf. Good first attack. A lot of phases going through there as well.
We saw in early January that JJOD was a totemic presence for Tarf against Terranure and Lakelands. Ballynahinch perhaps have their homework done. Himself and Fionn Gilbert met in double tackles early doors, but Tarf showing inventiveness in attack as Ed Kelly receives attention to get back for the first scrum of the game. And Adrian Darcy, dare I ask you how you think this is going to go?
It's a good question. I think both front rows are quite good here. You've got the experience of Colin McCall on Ballynahinch, a really strong club man, and George Sanderson as well, a giant human. But the Tarf Pack front row, they're very experienced. I think it'll be an evenly matched one for the whole game.
Peter Martin says, early doors, Tarf very eager there. John McKee, former Queen's man, has handed the ball to Greg Hutley, who had a fantastic day out at Ireland, England last weekend. Back in the colours of Ballynahinch, and hands the ball to Mark Best. It's been in brilliant form for Hinch all season. Carney and Gilbert try and put pressure on, but Best doesn't quite find touch there. Loss of footing there for Clontarf, but they managed to get the ball back. Referee Martin doesn't say anything. A little bit helter-skelter, but Griffin does what he does best and carries forward and gets Tarf front foot ball. Murphy hits Soroka, looks to go out the back, but takes JJOD, and OD has a chance to stretch the legs. He's met very well there again by Milligan. Hinch doing a lot of defending early doors, but so far answering the test, and Mick Courtney knocks it on. There's a chance here through Cairns, but it's well taken by Ashiru there again. Hinch staying very disciplined, and Tarf trying to open doors at the moment that just aren't quite opening.
Yeah, just that one or two pass at the end there, not quite getting the job done, but a really good start. Lots of very good shape. Fun defence, and Clontarf starting to open up some gaps in the middle of the field.
Doesn't appear to be too much of a wind. Our Brian Fitzpatrick, lovely sponsored by O'Corian gazebo that we're in, is keeping us well sheltered. As we set up for the second scrum, Peter Martin will have warned Tarf a second early entry will result in a long arm penalty for 2 consecutive free kicks. Tony Ryan will be looking to keep the sizable frames of Ed Kelly and Fionn Gilbert back here.
Interesting battle as well from Ben Griffin and George Sanderson. Ben's been up and on trial, I believe, or testing out with Ulster as well, so he'll want to have a good show here as well.
McKee hits Best. Best brings it right to the line to Hutley. They move it out the back. Cairns in off his blindside wing, but he's met very well by Mick Courtney, the red skunk cap. McKee again, the former Queen's man. Brad Lunny, who's been excellent for the Ballynahinch side over the last number of weeks, a try scorer in their last round win against Trinity. Donnan again, back after a while out in Sanderson, met very well. As Adrian Darcy said, by Ben Griffin, a point to prove perhaps. Good carry there by Rory Butler. In for Ethan Graham, who's out of the side today. With Ulster duties, Kearns comes on the inside. Gets around Gilbert, but Donlan just about gets the grip with him in Izuchukwu. Brings Ballynahinch and a rare venture into the first half. McKee, again, plays the ball out. Hinch playing good rugby here. Hutley and Mark Best goes in. Tarf have bitten in on the inside, and it turns out to be a good call as Ballynahinch now have a ruck. And their first entry to the Tarf half results in a penalty, and this time they stress the Tarf defence.
Yeah, Hinch are looking really good there. Lots of good shape. Big forward carries, getting good momentum, and very fast ball on both sides of it, I think.
It was a prominent feature of Hinch against Trinity to move the ball in any direction as long as it was forward, and we saw Izuchukwu carry very well through. Aaron Cairns carried on an inside shoulder. And Hinch here with an opportunity. Greg Hutley not happy with the Gilbert ball and the commentary by the sounds of things as he landed it towards us. But Hinch yet to make an opportunity, a call rather here, an opportunity for three potentially with the angle is quite difficult. As we said, today's stream is in association with the Korean. Please use the hashtag Energia AIL and tag at Clontarf Rugby and at Ballynahinch RFC with where you were watching this game. A meeting of minds here, Ado. How would you assess the opening 10 minutes?
It's been full on, lots of energy, both sides, really physical battle, big hits, and both teams showing that when they hold the ball, they can be dangerous. I think whoever it sounds silly and simple, but whoever makes less mistakes is going to have a big impact on the game.
Nacho Cladera being readied here. George Saunderson, a heavily strapped leg there. Has only lasted 10 minutes. So we wish him all the best there. Cladera with a strong showing for Hinch off the bench this season. Fionn Gilbert as well seems to have gone to the blood bin. He's been replaced by Paul Deeney, the former St. Peter's College man from Wexford, heading into strawberry season now.
Big time. Tony Ryan will tell you all about that as well.
Hinch electing to go for a full man line out here. Zach McCall at 7 will play as scrum half. Cladera gives the call to Milligan as the rain starts to come down in Castle Avenue here. Brad Lunny running through the middle. Izuchukwu takes very well. And Hinch look to set them all. Height seems to be good on both sides. As they move in again, Tarf trying to spoil it here. Peter Martin is stuck out the hand, so there's an opportunity to play here, and Mark Best will do just that. Left-footed, he's going across to Aaron Cairns. There's an opportunity. The kick is on the money. It's a one-on-one tackle here, and Cairns met very well by Ashiru there. McKee again elects not to pass, and Tarf have scrambled very well, but Peter Martin says no advantage from them all. And I'm not sure when the PGA Masters is on, Edo, but that left foot was not quite a 9-iron, maybe a pitch wedge to get straight into Aaron Cairns, and Hinch showing they're dangerous.
Yeah, big time. I think they had their advantage, and I think you said Mark Best took it on. A lovely kick straight into the hands of the winger. Could have done a little bit more, but Shaney from Clontarf really made a great tackle there. But showing a lot of ambition here at Ballynahinch and showing how good and strong they can be.
A couple of people heading back towards the clubhouse for refreshments. You can't blame them for that as the weather teams down here. Hinch again, Hutley says, let's go for 5 instead of 3. Milligan with the ball in hands. They've set up with Brad Lunny. They take that there. Tarf elect to stay down again, and Deeney, Kelly and Gilbert look to go, but Hinch have muscled around the front, and it's Zach McCall on the inside. Is it Chukwu showing up for a carry? He's met very well by Tony Ryan there. A stalwart in Castle Avenue, Ed Kelly, remonstrating with Peter Martin that somebody from Hinch had an indiscretion, but we play on. The carry through Milligan again. A good carry there. Matty Ray here. Tarf going toe-to-toe defensively here as Hinch have their first purple patch of the afternoon. Brad Lunny wants to go around the outside, and Peter Martin, the third indiscretion. This in the last couple of minutes for the Castle Avenue side here. And Hinch again, Hutley shaping as if he's going to kick it into the corner, and he just does just that. But Tarf under the pump here, Edo.
Yeah, big time. It looks like Hinch have the upper hand at the moment. They're getting forward momentum, a lot of pressure on Clontarf to stay disciplined, and just sometimes going offside on the referee here, which isn't going to help them in this zone. So a big set coming up for both Hinch and Tarf, and let's see how they get on.
Tarf being very mindful here. Lunny takes the ball again. They peeled around the front the last time, but they elect to do the same again this time. But Dylan Donnellan is around to rescue. McKee again. He's got Izuchukwu again, who's been brilliant on the carry. Mark Best roaming around there, possibly looking as a link man. Hinch again staying patient through Matty Ray. Met again through Tony Ryan. Been brilliant defensively. Good pass there from McKee, right out to Kyle McCall. The experienced man, Hutley has it. Right-footed, kicks it out to Cairns. They're going to get the opening score this afternoon, and it's brilliant composure and patience. Hutley to Cairns, and it's 5-0 here in Castle Avenue.
Yeah, not quite the start Clontarf want, but unbelievable play from Ballynahinch there. very, very good kick into the corner, and I think he caught it
Possibly
on
looking
the
as a
dive
link man.
forward. So
Hinch
a
again
fantastic
staying
finish as
patient
well.
through Matty Ray. Met
Ballynahinch
again
showing that
through
they're
Tony.
here to really play ball.
Aaron Cairns, former captain of the Ballymacarn side, took a perfect kick from Greg Hutley, and what a score there. Absolutely no chance for Aidsall King to defend that. Interestingly, Ado, in terms of the analysis done during the week, it's clear that Ballynahinch have seen something at the front of that maul, that they've tried two peels, and they obviously feel Tarf are quite narrow, that they've done two crossfield kicks. So interesting shadow boxing early doors, and Tarf will be very, or Ballynahinch, excuse me, will be very, very happy with the opening 15 minutes.
Yeah, big time. Like that, the pack is where it's going to be won, and they know that they have to make a stand here and make a big offense against Clontarf.
Hutley with a very good strike. And it's a superb kick considering the conditions there, faded it in from left to right. And Ballynahinch take a 7-0 lead here in Castle Avenue in this round 16 Energia All-Ireland League fixture coverage. In association with Acorian, we will endeavour to bring you up-to-date scores from around the grounds. A win today for Ballynahinch would keep them in the hunt for a top four place. Clontarf will need to win here, with Terranure expected to win in Garryowen to claim top spot heading into the playoffs. Best left-footed sends it downtown as King, phenomenal athlete. King moves it out, Mick Courtney and Ishiru outside Mick Carney. Takes Donnan. Soroka has Deeney outside him. We have no news on Fionn Gilbert just yet. Murphy met by Izuchukwu, who was a little bit eager there, and JJOD, little bit across the field. Tony Ryan tries to get go forward, ball for Tarf. As Murphy again moves it out to Crosby. Courtney is the dummy line. King, who's seen a lot of ball in this opening 16 or so minutes. JJOD carries very well again, but Ballynahinch have marked his card thus far. Crosby has a pod. Ben Griffin carries very, very well, but he's met by resolute Hinch defence again, and Crosby says, let's go in behind. But Peter Martin says, let's come back for a penalty. Considering the conditions, Ado, this has been a top quality game.
Yeah, the ball and play time has been incredible. Like, there's not been many stoppages in the game. Both sides really giving it a good crack. I think a little bit more composure there from Clontarf, really getting into the mix and holding on to the ball a little bit more. Obviously they need to try and get a bit more into this game because there's been a few mistakes the first half. So they want to build into it from here.
I always say it's very easy from a retired commentator who used to play rugby from where we're standing, with Crosby moves it into the 22 for Tarf. And in terms of taking their chances, Ballynahinch have taken 7 from their 2 visits to the Tarf 22. So Tarf need a bit of a bite back. And it has been a bit of a feature of the games at Castle Avenue this season, where Tarf have staged stellar comebacks, right or over stuff. Today does not seem like a day to do that.
No, you don't want to be chasing a game here in these kind of conditions. Very wet, very tricky, but going into this line out, Tarf, no, this is one of their big strengths. Always was a strength last year and has been this year. They'll want to go after Ballynahinch right here.
Ben Griffin standing on the 13, Deeney in the scrum cap at the tail, Ed Kelly, Mick Carney and Tony Ryan, as Soroka had given the call to Donlan, but there seems to have been a change of plan based on the conditions. Worth noting that RTE's meteorological service said there would be no rain before 11 p.m. tonight, which shows what they know. Tony Ryan takes the ball, and Hinch looked to have come in early there, and Peter Martin sticks out the hand. O'D looks to get out, but he's chopped down very well by Zach McCall. Hinch very eager to put a stop, and a little bit too eager there, as Peter Martin will come back most likely for the penalty for early doors. We've upgraded the rain situation to cats and dogs here in Castle Avenue.
Change a lot since you came in with the elf shades on, Frawley.
It was a festival entry here in Castle Avenue about 3/4 of an hour ago, as Hinch end up going roughly about 10 metres from the Ballynahinch line. It's such a potent weapon for them. Carney this time takes the ball in the air very, very well, and Tarf set a good foundation, but Hinch so far answering the question. Ed Kelly laying the foundation up front there with Deeney. Hinch trying to roll it around again. Peter Martin tells Hinch to get their hands out of there, not to change their bind. Izuchukwu Staying disciplined, but Tarf moving forward again. 2 or 3 guys breaking away from the maul there with Ben Griffin, and it finally goes to ground. Tarf normally lethal from this situation. Murphy in no mood to move that ball out. Donlan looking for yet another try to tell a story in the clubhouse afterwards. Ryan Tarf slowly but surely trying to move forward, but he's met very well by McCall again in Ballynahinch colours. Tarf a little bit exposed there, but Ballynahinch not getting over the ball. Donlan calling for a pre-latch. Looks for Mick Carney, slowly but surely eking forward. It's all King has the hand ready out the back. And Tarf look to move forward here. 3 metres short. The ball is with Ed Kelly. Calls for assistance from Mick Carney. He gets it. Ed Kelly just short. Mark Best does so well. Fingernails from the line. Tarf man down and Dylan Donlan. And this time it's not from the maul, but it's try number 14 or thereabouts for the season. And Tarf bite back, and it's 7 points to 5. Most likely going to be 7-7, and it's a very good response from Tarf considering the conditions.
Yeah, it's a big statement. I think the forwards took it on there. You saw probably Matty say, get in the corner here and let's show a bit of muscle. And Dylan Donlan scores probably for a total of 10 metres, about 15. How many tries he scored this year? Over 10 metres or something. So from that yardage, you're not stopping Dill.
19 tries in 18 games last season in the regular season. He currently has had 14 tries, so that is his 15th try of the season. A certain Matt Darcy, whom I had a coffee with a couple of months ago, said backs like to put their hands in his pockets sometimes, which is a nice way of describing it. But Tarf strike back here in Castle Avenue, and it's 7 points apiece. Hinch with a very good opening 21 minutes. 7 points in the forward and decent defence, can't be too aggrieved. The weather really becoming inclement here in Castle Avenue. Greg Hutley, right-footed, sends it, landing around the 15 to Tony Ryan. No guesses as to what the Wexford man will do. He's met by Cladera and McCall, but Ryan sets up a platform, and Hinch will be disappointed to give Tarf an easy exit there based on their good start to the opening quarter, and Tarf growing into this game.
Yeah, looking to take advantage of a bit of momentum here. Momentum is so big in this game. And when you get it, you got to take advantage. So it's a nice, easy exit for Tarf, and now very good field position in the Hinch half.
Steve Crosby with an excellent kick, right-footed, lands Tarf into the Hinch half on the 10-metre line as we see the return of Fionn Gilbert. Paul Deeney with a nice cameo. I'm sure we'll be seeing him in the latter stages of the game, but good to see Gilbert back. He's had a great season following on from his fine form last season.
Yeah, he's a fantastic Clontarf stalwart, incredible line-out operator, but also has silky smooth skills. So always a good man to have in your team.
Donlan's dart going awry there, with Peter Martin doing well to play advantage. Is a Chuck who looked for a little dummy out the back, and you see the power there from the Offaly native. Tullamore man, 7-star, played with Ulster. Best doing so well again. Brought a real different addition to that Ballynahinch backline with taking the ball that we mightn't have seen last season, but anything that Ballynahinch do well in that backline seems to go through Hutley and Best, and they've gotten a penalty. And Hutley will most likely land them in and around the 22 and give Hinch another attacking opportunity as the sun just about comes out in Castle Avenue.
You need to get the shades back on, Frost.
And Hutley does just that, landing Ballynahinch into the 22. Ado, give us a quick bit of mindset there. The last 2 lineouts, Hinch have managed to pinch it at around 30 and roll around the front.
Yeah.
What are Mick Carney and Ed Kelly discussing?
They're talking about like trying to defend the seams here. Make sure that they obviously get a good set and don't let Hinch get a drive on. But with those peels, you need to defend the seam very, very, very aggressively. So you'll look at Ivo here. He'll make sure he's keeping an eye on the back, and so will Dill, just not to go into those seams.
Lunny takes the ball as Hinch motion forward off the right foot. 6 metres in from the touchline, Mick Carney told to stay on side. McKee Good delivery again. Best, his first receiver, goes out the back to Hutley. He's got a blind runner on his inside. Ball is moved very well there by Butler, who's done well in the limited ball he's had. And Hinch now through McKee. A little bit of scramble. Dylan Donlan getting to grips with the Hinch man as they look to set up again. McKee, Hinch heavily loaded on the right hand side. McCall met by OD. Hinch have got numbers on this side, but the ball is knocked on, and Tony Ryan again decides to go no way but forward. And Ben Griffin again spins out of the first tackle, but he's met again by a double tackle, which has been a feature of Hinch's defence this afternoon. Murphy moves the ball out, and JJOD again, hard yards made by the Tarf man. And Murphy decides right-footed to send the ball out. And which way will this touch go? It is given to Ballynahinch, but Murphy, son of Grand Slam winning coach Richie, who was thoroughly enjoying himself at the lunch earlier on, does very well to relieve the pressure.
Yeah, that's some kick from Ben Murphy. He's been a brilliant player. Came back to us this year and has really excelled. But Clontarf will be really happy with that defensive set. Didn't let Hinch get to the edge, and then outworked them there in the centre of the park. So a really good set from Clontarf. Hinch might be a little bit disappointed.
Milligan, again, a great dart. Lunny, prolific in the air, out to Hutley. McCall uses the dummy runner, and it's carried there by Ryan Wilson, the outside centre for Hinch this afternoon. Hutley again, lovely little delivery on that best with a short little ball there to Rory Butler again, but Mike Courtney kept his number close. Cladera again, Hutley moving very well, gets an offload, and Hinch in the groove here as they move into Clontarf's half. McKee dummies left and goes right, and McCall decides to dummy left and right as Ballynahinch are upping the heat here a small bit again. Best with a little dink in behind them. There's a lot of ground to cover up here for Eights-All King on a right-footed kick. Hutley tries to put pressure on him, but King answers the question and again relieves pressure, and Tarf will be very happy again with consecutive exits, Sado.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Hinch and both sides actually have been really moving the ball quite nicely. It's expansive play considering the conditions. But Hinch looking really good on the ball when they get possession, they're dangerous. But lovely cover from Eights-All King to get back and find a really good touch finder into the Hinch half.
Can see a lot of forwards with hands on hips trying to show that they're not tired, but we can see with the water underfoot that it has been very energy sapping. Couple of huge carries from JJOD, Ben Griffin and Tony Ryan, with Brad Lunny, Zach McCall and Izichukwu as cries of water. Enough of it has fallen from the sky, but a well-earned break.
I love the
dummy
tactical
left
knee
and
in
right.
my time. After a play like that, when balls in play that much, take a knee, give your front row, give your front five a bit of a rest. They'll thank you later, maybe get your point after the game.
It's an intriguing battle thus far, with Hinch seeming to be willing to play between their half and halfway between their 22, but Tarf deciding under no circumstances, let's play downtown. Let's make sure we don't offer them any easy turnovers, and let's play the ball in their area of the pitch.
Yeah, I think they've probably decided that accuracy needs to be there, and to play the right parts of the pitch is very important against this Hinch team, because as we've seen, once they get into the 22, they're very dangerous and they can score. So I think they've had one entry and scored once, maybe two entries and scored once. So they've been really impressive. So no messing around from Clontarf.
Milligan again, his darts have been good all afternoon, and Izichukwu one-handed takes it from the Castle Avenue sky, and Hinch again rolling off the right hand side down that touchline, getting small yards as Fionn Gilbert tries to make a nuisance of himself, and McKee sends a lovely little kick in behind, but it's well taken there by O'Donoghue to King. He's got two outside him with Courtney and Ishiru, but elects to go down, and Butler will have an opportunity here. You can imagine he's going to send it back and look for a 50-22, but it's well fielded by Steve Crosby on the right hand side, and Crosby sends it downtown, deciding we don't need to take touch just yet, and we will get into a small bit of an aerial battle. McKee sends the ball to George Pringle, who won't perhaps thank him for that pass, but the ball bounced up to Izichukwu again. An absolute bear of a man. Peter Martin says tackle is made there as Kelly and Gilbert get to grips. McCall goes out the back. Darcy shoots, but Hutley looks to go on the inside. He's been elusive in contact all afternoon as Milligan gets his hands on the ball in the open. McKee again to Hutley. Best moves the skills on McCall system-wise, landing out on the touchline. JJOD tries to get his hands in. It's all going on. Peter Martin says the ball went back. Hinch deciding to play a little bit of sevens as Dannon carries very well. Tarf a little bit short on this side as McCartney tries to get out. McKee goes off the right foot as O'Donoghue has the ball in. Adrian Darcy called the ball in playtime. We're going to see plenty of water come in here, but O'Donoghue makes a break on the inside. Darcy met by his opposite number Best on the far side of the pitch as Tarf try and get into some form of rhythm. Ben Griffin carries down a little bit of a dark alley, and Ballynahinch, Adrian Darcy seem to have won that long ball in play, Jude.
Yeah, big time. I think it's interesting to see how both teams are approaching it. Hinch are definitely playing a lot of ball in the centre of this pitch. And when they can't get their access, they try and put the ball in behind. So it's an interesting duel. Ball, as you said, staying in play quite a lot. But Hinch certainly won that duel there on that occasion.
Set piece wise, Ballynahinch will be very happy with the line out. Interestingly, with the amount of rain that's fallen, we've only had 2, possibly 3 scrums, 1 free kick for early entry. Hinch went on strike 1, but Tarf would be looking perhaps to get more scrum set piece rather than line out as Dannon takes the ball at the tail. They set up again. Carney looks to have sacked the immediate ball, but Hinch are on the move again, and Dannon. But McKee is blocked down by Griffin, making amends for that early carry. A little bit stop-start, but intriguing nonetheless. 29.5 minutes on the clock here, 7 points apiece. Today's stream in association with O'Corian, Nacho, Cladera. Hinch will want a long list of line-out calls with the amount of calls that we've had in the first half of this game alone. Milligan looks at Lunny, Dannon looks to go, and Gilbert reads it very well. The 2-step jump as Ed Kelly swivels and gets the hands free. JJOD steps on the inside. Hinch committed defensively as Murphy looks in behind for a little box. There's a little bit of airtime on that, and McKee, reading minds of his opposite number, does very well to get in behind. And McKee, right-footed, tries to send it very long, and Ed Kelly telling the touch judge where to go, and Tarf will have a line out just inside the 10-metre line. Intriguing play, Ado. Frustrating from Tarf, a couple of opportunities where there was men outside, but the policy perhaps not to play in their own half and get in and slow poison, if you will, in the Ballynahinch half.
Yeah, definitely some decisions there that it seems to be more of a kick first option at the moment, but I think they're just trying to grow into the game. It's been a bit of a frantic start, a lot of ball and play time, a lot of mistakes. So they probably just want to get in here and get settled into this game 30 minutes in.
Carney takes the ball well. Crosby moves it out to O'D, who finds Darcy, who finds O'Donoghue on the inside. He's got Aital King on his outside, and Aital King is on the move. And he's got Murphy on the inside, and Matt Darcy goes at Clontarf. Turn up the heat in Castle Avenue, and that's as good a team try as you'll see this afternoon. What a play from Clontarf, a mixture of forwards and backs, Ado.
That was incredible, yeah. Unbelievable play, just as we were saying. They weren't making the decision to go wide. They decided to go wide. Incredible play at the back door, and Keano got on the end of it to pass over to Richie's son Ben Murphy. But look, ball out the back here, lovely little pop into Keano, who drops it to King. King shows good pace and pass into Ben Murphy, and then Matthew, the praying mantis Darcy, gets in over the try line.
Wonderful identified space from Clontarf. A lot of the Ballynahinch players biting down on JJOD, but OD using hands for the first time this afternoon. Crosby, who will be central to everything good that Clontarf do this afternoon. Murphy, like all good nines, following on the inside, and Captain Matt Darcy shows up to give Clontarf 12 points to 7 lead as Murphy, right-footed, just on the 15, lines this up. Just under 10 minutes to go to half time. Murphy strikes it well, but it just moves off to the right hand side, and the score remains 12 points to 7. But Clontarf, we've seen their power game made up, absolutely lethal. Murphy calls in the artillery, looking for a right-footed box kick here as Cairns drops down, but Butler will take it very, very well. Good shielding runners from McKee and Cairns there, and Izichukwu takes the ball inside, and there's one man you don't want to go high on. Probably Izichukwu and JJOD, and Izzy, as he's more affectionately known. Shake hands, but that's a get out of jail clause. A good exit by Tarf, but again giving Ballynahinch easy access to the Tarf half, and as we've seen with their maul, they're a potent threat. Hutley from the centre of the field, right-footed, finds a good touch for a Hinch just inside the Clontarf 10.
But what a game so far for us. Huh? Like, it's been absolutely back and forth. Tenner to get into this, eh?
The best value in all of the land in the Energia All-Ireland League. 25 games in the men's divisions up and down the country this afternoon. 2:30 kickoffs. Fantastic dart from Milligan again to Donnan. Hutley flat on the game line. Finds Matty Ray. Fantastic serving for Ulster Rugby. Doesn't matter what jersey he's on. Formidable in both. Soft hands from Donnan is a Chukwu. Crosby holding on for dear life to his right ankle to try and stop the big man. McKee has best outside him on the lineup on the inside. He looks to go. Goes on the outside to Ryan Wilson. Ballynahinch now, 1.5 meters in for the left-hand touchline just outside the 22. Susceptible to turnover, and Ballynahinch accused of playing the ball on the ground from the Castle Avenue faithful, but referee Martin has let the game flow, and Donnan carries McKee. Temperatures rising on the sideline here. Hutley moves it out. Butler has the ball in his hands. Carried very, very well there. Elusive from Pringle. But the ball looks to have dribbled forward there. Hinch showing decent attacking prowess, getting from touchline to touchline, but Tarf holding firm it up.
Yeah, unbelievably good scramble defence there. You saw Ben Murphy probably caught out in the wing a little bit, but showed excellent patience for Keane to come up and connect and make some good tackles. And the pressure put on them from the defence kind of forced the turnover in the end.
Hinch in transition. Hutley with 2 or 3 dummy runners looking to go in. A good read from Ben Murphy on the touchline. Gave O'Donoghue an opportunity to get in. O'Donoghue had his weak shoulder sought out, but Murphy again able to cover tackle there.
Yeah, he's some player, Ben Murphy. He's been absolutely brilliant this year. I would have backed him to finish that last try. I think he's scored a few. He's had 6 and 7 games, but as he shows there, his defense is just as good as his attack.
35 minutes on the running clock here in Castle Avenue. As you said, 12 points to 7 by my maths, 4 scrums in 35 minutes. Murphy goes in. Cladera looks to be a little bit high here on the near side. Tarf looking to go, and it moves off. And a little bit of jiggery pokery and dark arts in the Castle Avenue crowd start to applaud as Tarf are awarded a penalty there. As we said, Edo, not many scrums in the game, but that would have been an area, particularly with George Saunderson and a change early.
Yeah,
that could be an area that could get an upper hand in.
Definitely. You saw the size of George, and he's quite clearly a fantastic player.
35 minutes.
But when
Murphy
you've got someone like Colin
looks to be a little bit high
the
here
experience
on the near side.
it's still going to be a very tough game in the front row. But Ben, Dill, and Ivo back themselves at this stage.
No credits to the second rows from Adrian Darcy either. Just all the front rows there.
Shed Kelly, can't give Shed Kelly any credit.
Soroka gives the call to Donlan again. Last one went towards the tail. McCartney decides the next one will go towards the tail again, and it's on the money as Donnan looks to get a hand on it and he doesn't, and JJOD is tasked with cleaning that up. Murphy to Darcy, his first receiver, takes Tony Ryan, but he's mel wet. Murphy again has the ball. Tarf a little bit static here, but Soroka will look to get go forward ball. McCall does well to marshal him. Ben Griffin tries to come around. Mick Courtney on a little short line. McCall again. The open side for Hinch has got through a hell of an amount of work in the first half. Mick Carney carries on an unders and ekes Clontarf into the Ballynahinch half. Murphy again. A lot of people claiming. Soroka looks to have been turned over. McCall met very well. Crosby makes the tackle, but Milligan does very, very well to ride it. Got about 100 officials here in Castle Avenue at the moment, but Mick Courtney does very well. And it's a little bit of a high tackle, and you can just sense the temperature here on the sideline going up a small bit, a little bit of argy-bargy, if you like, with players, though.
Yeah, definitely a bit of fight to this game. It happens when there's two big sides going at it, and two well contested sides. You can definitely hear it on the sideline. It would probably usually be me if I wasn't in the commentary box. But it's nice to see that. Nice to see the competitiveness. Two good sides going toe to toe. Nothing wrong with a bit of feistiness.
Adrian Darcy fully endorses this message as Greg Hutley lands Ballynahinch well into the Clontarf half here, 12 points to 7. 2.5 minutes plus whatever Peter Martin decides to add on here in Castle Avenue. Round 16 of the Energia All-Ireland League. As we said, we will endeavour to bring you half-time updates if and when we get them. Tarf at the moment will remain top of the table as Lunny takes the ball. McCall on appeal. Looks like Peter Martin may have blocked the line there, but Hinch still remain with the ball as McKee has got Cladera outside. And Cladera decides to tuck the ball. He's met by OD and Tony Ryan. And Peter Martin calls maul there. And Cladera looks to be in a little bit of trouble. And Clontarf celebrating the little wins in a big moment in the context of the first half, considering where we are time was.
Yeah, that's a big play. JJOD and Tony Ryan come together to put in a big shot. You never really want to be running at those two men the size of them. Even if you run at them by yourself, you're going to be in trouble. But holding up a man of Cladera's size is good going. So fantastic work on defence from both the Clontarf men.
Ballynahinch will look to make amends from the last scrum. It appeared as if Griffin did target Cladera with Donlan on the tight head side before sliding over on the left. So that secondary push very important for Hinch. And Tarf will be in no mood to leave this ball out. They'll want to get their full value from this scrum. The try scorers so far in the first half: Matt Darcy, Dylan Donlan for Tarf, Aaron Cairns from the wonderful crossfield kick by Greg Hutley. Greg Hutley with the 2-point conversion, and Ben Murphy with 1 from 2. An intriguing battle here in Castle Avenue as Peter Martin takes McCall and Soroka out of the classroom for a chat in the hallway. No one ever really knows what's going on here, either, do they?
No, I'd say the two boys are kind of well known for having a bit of chat to each other. So I'd say it could just be good old prop fun, you know?
As a podcast, and that I'd say. As we look to reset here, we're into added time at the discretion of Peter Martin, Steve Crosby, Cian O'Donoghue, Matt Darcy lining up flat. Murphy with the feed as Tarf look to step across, and Ben Griffin looks to have the number. Not as clear cut as you would think on the TV there, Rado, but in terms of Ben Griffin coming across Cladera, is it legal for you?
It's it's tough to see. As a Clontarf man, I'm going to say yes. But it looked like one team was in the dominance there. There's go for it ball on red and blue side, and when you see something like that, missed touchdown. When you see something like that, you expect a team going forward is usually doing the good stuff.
And as Clontarf missed touch, John McKee says, let's take half time, and half time here in Castle Avenue is Clontarf 12, Ballynahinch 7 points. Edo, sum up the first half for us.
Yeah, it's a real physical battle. Both teams are showing at times that they can be expansive. But I would say there's some really tired bodies out on that pitch. The forwards are going right at each other. Very, very physical contest. And Clontarf showing that they need to step it up a little bit in the second half, because Hinch are certainly not going anywhere in this game.
In terms of 16 rounds, this being the 16th round being played, the amount of miles in the legs of a lot of players there, how likely are we to see the changes early doors in the second half, and how important are they going to be for both sides, considering Ballynahinch have brought in Nacho Cladera for the injured George Sanderson?
Yeah, it's going to be really important to use the bench well, and I think both teams would look at their bench and say we've got a bit of power there to bring on. I think when you look at a day like today, Ball's been in play an awful lot. Tired legs out there, only a few scrums, but a lot of mauling. I think you'll see more changes in the pack than in the backs today.
That's always the case when we see changes in the pack in the back line. The old adage of forwards win the game and the backs by how many. I think we're going to see some half-time highlights in the next couple of minutes, but if not, we'll find out from the studio team. You're very welcome back to Castle Avenue. 12 points to 7 the score here. If we go around the grounds, Young Munster came from 14-0 down to lead 17-14 at half time, and Limerick Corkon are 15 points to 0 up against Shannon in Temple Hill. Trinity lead 10 points to 7 against Lansdowne and College Park, and Terranure College are 26 points to 0 up against Garryowen in Lakelands. I'd saw King again with a 3-iron up a right boot. Sets Tarf up very nicely. Exits have been very, very impressive all afternoon, and Tarf buoyed by that exit there, Edo.
Big time. It's a good start to that second half. Get rid of the ball, get it into their half, and now they'll look to use their defence, put some pressure on here against Hinch. No easy outs is the word on the park here.
Milligan gets the call from Cladera. Is it Chukwu, Lunny, and Donnan, the three in the middle. Lunny disrupted as Donlan takes the ball in. Nice little slide there before everyone goes back to fast forward. Murphy has Gilbert on his right hand side, but goes with Carney. Nice little bit of footwork from the big man. Murphy again to Crosby. Lovely sleight of hand. Darcy out to Crosby again. He's moving on the outside. King could have been used as an option there, but Tarf biding their time here again. OD looks to move the ball. Darcy again. Kelly met by Lunny. Mick Courtney. You can see here Tarf trying to move the ball here, but Peter Martin has no other choice. And Tarf tried to play out from their own half for the first time of the game early in the second half, and Hinch snuffing them out, and will have an opportunity here to get field position in the Clontarf 22, Edo.
Yeah, and excellent defence from Hinch there. Clontarf making a little bit of a mistake, but Hinch straight away pouncing on it, and a good steal in the end.
Hutley moves it, but King using the rules very well. Again, right foot absolutely levels it 50 or so metres as McKee moves the ball out to Butler. Butler has a little look up again. Tall, rangy figure for Hinch at 15. Looking for the corner and in the side with Crosby covered well in the backfield. Best puts an awkward one down. The bounce is kind to Crosby, right-footed. Sends that down again, getting every inch out of it, but Best hogging the touchline. Moves it inside to Hutley. Hutley moves it to Butler. Butler again looks to go, but he's met very well by Kelly and OD. And OD looks to have turned the ball over there. Peter Martin says it's okay. Donlan puts on a little bit of show and go. Off the right, then off the left, as Murphy goes to Tony Ryan. Tarf noticeably moving the ball through the hands of the forwards, trying to get into those wider channels and spread the Ballynahinch defence. But McCall, like glue on that ball, was not being moved, and what a turnover from the open side. But Edo, as we said, Tony Ryan, JJOD looking to move the ball with hands. That's something that someone like Andy Wood has addressed at half time.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably a bit of chatting at half time, just looking on how to take advantage of the space that's quite clearly been shown by Hinch out in the width, and some good handling play there that got the guys into the seams of things. So some good play, but also excellent poaching from Hinch.
Hutley, right-footed, sweet striker of the ball is Greg Hutley. Lands Hinch just inside the 10-metre line of Clontarf as James Simpson is standing in front of me, so he's not on the pitch. We will get that replacement number to you as Izichukwu takes the ball low into his chest. McKee to Hutley, Matty Ray. Crosby, textbook tackle there. Donlan tries to counter ruck. Hinch perhaps with a set play here as McKee goes outside, spins outside the tackle of Ben Griffin. But a little bit of off the feed at the ruck there, and Peter Martin says that's too much from Hinch. Nice little variation there. I think they tried to fool Tarf into thinking that it was going to be the pillar attack there, but McKee was well marshalled, and Tarf surviving this occasion, Edo.
Yeah, that was actually a lovely move. Going into the middle of the pitch and then looking to attack the short side with a nice peel off that ruck. Well, Clontarf read it really well, strong, both sides of D, and in fairness to them, they've been quite good defensively so far today.
Crosby moves Tarf into the half as their formidably sized pack move forward to the lineout. Mick Carney seems to have called a 6+1 here. JGOD playing at scrum half. Gilbert and Ryan in front, Kelly at the tail. They elect to go for Carney again, but this time Peter Martin says the lifters in front were causing an obstruction. Referee is fairly hot on that across all levels the last number of weeks. And if I was a betting man, I'd say we might see that for Ballynahinch in the last 35 minutes or so of the game made up.
Hopefully so, yeah. Didn't quite see it, but the ref had a great view of it, so you have to trust him on that one. But yeah, as you said, hopefully it goes against Hinch again in the second half here.
Good impartiality from Adrian Darcy, former AIL winner with Clontarf here in Castle Avenue. 12 points to 7 the score. 5.5 minutes into the second half. Do expect the game to open up big time in the opening 20 minutes, considering the energy levels and what it's taken from both sides. Great dart again from Milligan, goes towards the tail this time. Hutley has a flat line runner from Ryan Wilson. Hinch thereabouts on the gain line. Mark Best met very well there by JJOD, trying to snuff out the playmaker for Hinch. McKee again finds McCall. He's met by Gilbert and Ryan, making a nuisance of themselves again. Hutley show and go, but he's absolutely level there by Dylan Donlan, much to the delight of the Castle Avenue faithful. Ballynahinch biding their time again is Ichuku. Zach McCall in midfield, screaming to his players to get into shape.
Small, isn't it?
McKee deciding that the ball is going to go up in the air here. Gilbert tries to put pressure on. And Shiru does well. The second point of asking to take the ball there. A little bit of a blind alley for Hinch, but Tarf now have the ball in play again, and Donlan looks to set it up, and Murphy, right-footed, will try and send this as far as he can. The ball is carried back into the 22, but it's a high hanging kick. And Butler has time underneath this and does very, very well. Aaron Cairns, the assist. Nice little bit of dark arts there. As Ben Griffin does well to get out of the way of the cleaners. Milligan moves it out the back to Hutley. Flatline runners. McCall and Ray goes, and Hinch into the groove at the start of the second half. McKee goes. Cian Donoghue, a country mile offside here on the right hand side, as Mark Best hits George Pringle. But O'Donoghue may look back at the Tuesday video session and go, it's probably the right call, because he was seriously at sea there defensively. Not him, the Tarp defence in general.
Yeah, absolutely. In fairness to Hinge, they picked the right option there, hit the second man, I went straight through a gap. And once you get front football like that, it's quite easy to take the defence on. So good decision in the end from Matsall to make that tackle.
Mark Best measured to perfection. Interestingly, with the amount of penalties we have had within range, both sides deciding the tries are on the menu and menu only today. Milligan has an opportunity here with the ball in hand, as Cladera is given his calls for Hinch. We saw in the first half Hinch electing to go down and try that 5-6 metre channel. Will be interesting to see here. Donlan and Murphy, the men tasked at the front. McKee in the lineout for Hinch as they go towards the tail. Kearney looks to go, but it's well taken. And Tarf look to have scuffle that maul, but Peter Martin says that there was an indiscretion, and he's going to go to the pocket here. We will see who it is. Peter Martin speaking to Tony Ryan, saying that a man has come in the side, and he hasn't brandished it yet, but Tony Ryan is making his way to the sideline for some oranges, as Greg Hutley says, let's go again. No nonsense from the official there, Peter Martin. 8-0, and Tarf under the pump.
Yeah, you can't really make mistakes in this zone. You're going to get pretty harsh treatment from the referee. So Mick went up, they got over him with a good line out, and we were in a bit of a trouble. So yeah, fair call.
There's the Chukwu and Co getting ready. Donnan and Cladera looks to move around to the left hand side, and Tarf players a couple made redundant, but they do very well to turn them over. And just like that, a moment of real promise for Ballynahinch turns into a rescue moment for Clontarf, and they survived that scare, and Hinch will be kicking themselves that they didn't perhaps at least go through phases there.
So, yeah, you might see it here. I think Hinch went up. They looked in a really strong position. Good ball at 4. Strong D from Tarf. But JJOD just completely stuffing it out and making a mess of it and getting on the right side of it.
Like all good sevens do, isn't that right, Adrian Darcy? But Tarf surviving on that occasion. Ed Kelly down, getting some treatment for Clontarf. Hinch discussing what went wrong there. You can see Maddie Ray motioning with Joe Charles. They look to make amends, but in terms of where we are in the season, Ado, we spoke at half time about Munsters being ahead against UCD. Hinch really do need to win this game to stay in the hunt for the top 4, and if they want to win the game, they've got to take chances like that.
Big time. Hinch need to be taking advantage of going into the green zone entries. There is an opportunity for them to get top 4, which might lead to another meeting of Clontarf back here at some stage. But yeah, you can't miss any opportunities like that if you want to win games like this.
Ed Kelly back to his feet. Still as you were for Clontarf. Cian O'Donoghue will come in to play blindside in place of the sin bin Tony Ryan. Needs to be a carefully managed situation here. Clontarf have been in the ascendancy at the scrums. Murphy with the feed. Clontarf very solid. JJOD in at 8. Cian O'Donoghue perhaps will not have done this on Tuesday night at training in Castle Avenue. And OD manages to knock that. And Ballynahinch, much like the error that they had at the mall, make amends for that. And a classic case of your winger in at 6 there, perhaps not knowing to shield the ball, but
yeah, it's a tough job there for Keno, but it's probably as
feed.
well going back to the hook. The hook went back flanker side, didn't quite get back to JJ's left foot, which made it tricky for him to pick and go. And then, in fairness to John McKee, did excellently to hook the hand and get the knock on there.
James Simpson adds his sizable frame to the Ballynahinch pack. Both himself and Charles now on captain Tom Donnan back after a couple of weeks layoff with injury. Good to see him back. Rolling subs here in the Energia All-Ireland League as McKee will feed Hutley, Best, Wilson. And Paul Gorman seems to think that it was a great scrum from Tarf, but Peter Martin, the man in the middle with the most important call this afternoon, and says they will reset again. Tarf really going after that Hinch scrum on this side.
And in fairness to Paul Gorman, he's been an expert prop for many, many years. So I'm sure he definitely has the right answer on that occasion.
Tarf managing the clock well here with Tony Ryan in the bin, just winding down. McKee again with the feed, as we said. Hinch with Charles and Cladera, 2 of their front 3 replaced along with Simpson in the second row. Early doors in this second half. McKee again with the feed. Referee Martin says to use it. He does. But JJOD looks to have slapped that ball down, and Peter Martin sticks out the hand again. McKee telling his forwards to get around. Hinch a little bit short change, but Hutley again with an incredible kick. And Cairns this time, unlike the first half, can't hold on to it, but we will come back for a penalty. The scrum, a little bit of an issue. Hinch perhaps leaving the ball in a little longer than they would have liked. But at the same time, we've seen some scintillating attack, particularly with the footwork from the likes of Hutley and Best. Martin says
yeah, big time. The scrum is such an interesting part of this game because both sides are obviously claiming that they've won it there, but they've come up there and one team is going forward. So really interesting to see how it's going.
Peter Martin decides that JJOD's hand was intentional, and Tarf's 14 men have become 13 men. We're about 3.5 or 4 minutes into Tony Ryan's yellow card, so JJOD follows him to the bin, so 2 of the 3 back rowers gone. which is not exactly a crisis moment for Tarf, but they need to weather this storm big time. And Hinch, you would imagine, have a real upper hand here. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, interesting to see them go for a corner here. I mean, there's two forwards down, but they've gone for the line out. But let's see if it pays off.
Lunny takes the ball in the middle as Hinch reset again. The ball is in the hands of Clayton Milligan, and Milligan makes a dive for the line. He's very well met there, and he's driven by his Hinch crowd. In behind is Ichukwu, gets the ball up around his right shoulder, which gave Tarf an extra second to get off the line there. He's met very, very well. Captain Darcy putting his body on the line. Kearney and Kelly look set, but Hutley has the ball in his hand, right footed, goes out, and it's going to be a stroll in for Cairns. And everyone, bar the travelling Ballynahinch support, is very, very quiet in Castle Avenue. And Ado, they worked very well up front with that, and it's very well looked at. We spoke about Hutley being able to put the ball on a sixpence for Aaron Cairns, but being down to 13 men for Tarf, the inevitability of a try happening there was very, very high, and it did.
Yeah, they took advantage there. One crash phase up here, as you can see, out the back, and then a lovely, perfectly judged kick with loads of space out there, and straight in the breadbasket. And another 5 points, maybe 7 here.
Cairns with his second try of the afternoon. Hutley with his second assist of the afternoon, and Hutley has the opportunity to put Hinch into the lead here. Prize of energy from the Ballynahinch sideline. Pack have got through a hell of an amount of work. The leaders, Lunny, Ichukwu, really stood up there. Matty Rabe into the fore as Hutley strikes right footed. And Ballynahinch, after 17 minutes in this second half, Energia All Ireland League fixture lead 14 points to 12. Game on, Adrian Darcy.
Big time, big time. You can sense it from Hinch side that they see a bit of a momentum swing here. It was certainly going with Clontarf with phases, but 2 men in the bin. This is a massive 8-9 minutes of bins left, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Crosby, right-footed, resets. Well taken by Matty Ray. Dara Bulger has entered the fray for Clontarf. Ben Griffin has come off as Paul Deeney warms up the shoulders. Andy Wood is seen with Ballynahinch reinforcements. He needs to call on some of his own. McKee shaped to kick, and Hutley again. And Cairns, you could see just across the field, took his eyes off it a bit. Both Crosby and Ashiru had the opportunity, but just a word on Hutley's kicking skills. It's one ability to try it, but to be able to do it consistently under pressure at this level in Energia All Ireland League rugby is some feat.
Yeah, that's incredible skill. It's like a laser beam across the pitch. It's almost as if he's actually passing it out of his hands. It's so accurate. What a nudge across the pitch. Possibly should have been taken. I think there would have been a lot of danger for Clontarf if he had taken it.
Fionn Gilbert is replaced by Paul Deeney. Good shift from the big man. Tarf using all their nous and experience to wind down the clock. As we said, Tony Ryan and JJOD in the bin as Mick Carney finds Murphy, who finds Darcy, and Courtney takes a nice little flat line. Ball goes back to Murphy again unconventionally. Murphy has the Shiru on the inside. Could hear that collision here. Matty Ray flies off the line to find Crosby. Good carry by Soroka. Matty Ray saying hello to Steve Crosby there. Good carry by replacement Bulger. Crosby inside his own half decides to move it down, looking for a 50-22, but it's going to hold up. And Butler moves the ball back inside, and Darcy again looks to find it. Peter Martin says the ball is available for Ballynahinch here. McKee, right-footed, says let's go. The ball is going to bounce in field. It's just about going to go out with the Ballynahinch people willing it to go into touch. As you can hear on our audio, and McKee's kick there worth his weight in gold. But we've said the temperature of the first half has gone up, Edo. The rain seems to have gone away for the time being. And we've got a hell of a game on our hands here.
Yeah, it looks like Clontarf have been shocked back into a bit of intensity now as well. So there was some good play there, but this game is proper feisty. and a lot of physicality going on. So, yeah, enjoying it.
Plenty of advice coming in from both panels, officials looking for gaps, people to behave. Dylan Donlan, well, look, Kearney been excellent in the air all afternoon. Wonderful delivery to Murphy, who finds Crosby. He's got O'Donoghue, who's tried his trade at blindside wing forward this afternoon and blindside wing. As Darcy again moves, McCall looks to go, but Darcy does very well. And Murphy was ousted there by James Simpson. You can see what that means to Hinch. And Wild Tarfer down to 13 men. Hinch taking full advantage, a 2-point lead here in Castle Avenue. As we said, your Munsters are leading against UCD in Limerick. But Hinch will close the gap with a win here this afternoon. The stop-start nature, Rado, probably benefiting Tarf considering the sin bins.
Yeah, absolutely. Clontarf need a few more stops in the game, and I think they'll look to play position in the park as much as they can. But at the same time, this isn't a bad attacking position for a team who are playing against a team with a man down.
McKee with the feed. Tarf looking to go. But McKee has Huntley on the outside. He's got Butler outside and uses him very well. Nice little flat pass there. But O'Donoghue does very, very well. Is the Chukwu carries and gets over it again. 9 again. Simpson looks to have come in the side. And Tony Ryan, who is back in the fray after his time in the sin bin, makes amends straight away. And a little bit isolated there, but you get the sense that with Tony Ryan coming back in, even down to 7, Tarf will slowly feel themselves into the ascendancy if they can get field position here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But McKee
Tony
has
Ryan
Huntley
straight
on the
back in.
outside. He's got Butler
Few
outside and
extra
uses him
minutes
very
break
well.
in his
Nice little
leg,
flat
so
pass there.
he's made to
But
make an impact,
O'Donoghue
and he won't shy away from
does
this physical
very
battle.
well.
He'll
Is the
absolutely love
Chukwu
it.
carries and
Looks
gets
like he
over it
tries to get
again.
on the
9
ball
again.
here, and a
Simpson
man comes in from the side,
looks to have come in the
and the
side.
ref
And
pings
Tony
him for
Ryan,
coming in
who
from
is
the
back
side.
in the
But
fray
great work from
after.
Tony Ryan. Looked like he got on that ball pretty quickly.
Got to be right footed now. Very tense atmosphere here in Castle Avenue. 17 and a half minutes left on the clock. 14 points to 12. Tony Ryan just back from the sin bin. JJOD will cool off for another few moments. Hinch have as good as emptied their forwards bench as McCall looks to roll back on. Donlan gets his call from Soroka, Deeney, Carney, Kelly and Bolger. Carney takes it very, very well. One hand has had some battle with his Ichuku in the air all day. Tony Ryan gives the ball to his captain, Darcy, who gets some very valuable yards. And McCall looked to get his hands on the ball there, but the referee says that he was offside. And Darcy has a little pensive thought on his face as to whether this should be 3 or a little bit more. And Murphy is handed the ball and entrusted with taking the 3. As Lansdowne are 19 points to 10 up against Trinity. That's a huge game in the context of the Division 1A Energia All-Ireland League. A win for Lansdowne, stopping Trinity, taking a losing bonus point there, would draw Lansdowne level on points, but just behind on points differential there. So massive in the battle of 6 to 9 to avoid that relegation playoff place, which is currently occupied by Shannon. Terranure College are 45 points to 0 up against Garryowen, and by virtue of their points difference, even with the Clontarf win here, unless they get a bonus point, will remain top of the table as Murphy lines up the kick for Tarf. Strikes it well, but it's left and wide. Small margins here in Castle Avenue. Perhaps a little bit of nerves there. Normally ever reliable Murphy there. As Hinch still a man to the good. Kyle McCall will re-enter the fray here, as will Chris Gibson. Connor McKee, excellent all afternoon, came off the bench against Trinity in round 15, scored a wonderful try. Hutley drives the ball down. Mick Courtney falls in behind. Courtney, such a brilliant player for Tarf over the last number of seasons, met by Matty Ray and brings Tarf just inside the half. JGOD follows that up with a very big carry. Crosby to Soroka. He's met well. That cluster. Bolger not quite ready to take that, but does well with a handoff to the new man, Chris Gibson, as Clontarf are back to a full complement now with JJOD. Down to 13 at one stage. Carney with very soft hands. JJOD galloping with the legs, moves to the side like all good nights. And Murphy's in a foot race here. Butler's on the way across. He's got an opportunity. Butler pulls him down. And Brad Lunny decides, Mike Bassett style, to send that any which way away from their line. Wonderful break from OD down the touchline here, Ado, like all good nines, tracking on the inside. But Butler did very, very well there for Ballynahinch to cover the tackle. But Tarf still 5 metre line out.
Yeah, brilliant speed and great fend from JJ opening it up. And Ben Murphy is always there. And maybe just the ball and playtime, the pace of this game, couldn't quite get it finished. But superb covering tackle. Unfortunately, that ball didn't really go to hand. But a great play from Tarf there.
Just around Cian O'Donoghue's knees. As we said, easy from where we're standing to leave a bit of loft on that as Donlan hits Carney. Hinch elect to stay down. Try and splinter that mole. Lunny and Matty Ray go through, and this looks ominous for Clontarf. And Peter Martin has the hand out, and he says he's under the posts for a 7, and he is going to go to the pocket here to look for a yellow. We will see which player it is. Dylan Donlan and Mark Best exchanging pleasantries here. But we spoke about 13 players and Hinch needing to take advantage. Tarf really gaining energy from the re-arrival of Tony Ryan and JJOD.
Big time. Tony came on, got a penalty straight away. JJ went in the wing, first touch of the ball. Big fend opened up Ben Murphy on the inside. That little rest. Though their teammates not be thanking them for it, they both came back on and made a huge impact. So that might be the telling of how this game will go in the next 15 minutes.
Penalty try. Dylan Donlan will be absolutely raging. He didn't get to add to his try list there.
Add the extra metre to his total yards carried.
That'll bring the score to 19 points to 14, as there will be no conversion due to the penalty try. But Peter Martin consults with his 2 touch judges, and he's going to brandish a yellow card. It looks like Kyle McCall on the way out. He's giving a stern talking to Mark Best. And it is Kyle McCall who has just re-entered the fray for Hinch. So that's an issue for Hinch at a scrum time if and when it arises. But
yeah, and to be fair, I don't think referees get enough credit, but it's probably fair enough. I think he's given a yellow for the same position down in Ballynahinch. And he's given a yellow card there as well for Hinch defending it for the infringement too. So probably fair refereeing.
So the score is now 19 points to 14. By virtue of Clontarf's penalty try, and as you saw, Peter Martin motioned Mark Best for the push. And we go to a penalty to Clontarf on the halfway line. 5 points, the difference. The 3rd yellow card of the afternoon, the first for Hinch. Kyle McCall in the bin for an indiscretion as Crosby lines it up to go to the right. Peter Martin not happy with Steve Crosby's gaining of yards there. 10 minutes left on the clock, as we said. Terranure bonus point secured against Gary Owens. That will bring them to 65 points with a points differential of in and around 260. Clontarf at the moment with a 5 points differential will be level on points, but will move to second in the table if they manage to get a bonus point. Garryowen, as we said, already relegated to Division 1B of the Energia All-Ireland League. A tough afternoon for them in Lakelands this afternoon. Donlan with the ball in hand. Again, Kearney walks in at the tail. They go towards Kelly, vastly experienced former UL Bows man. And Tarf upping the heat here on Hinch as they march into the 22. And the Maul has a head of steam built up here, and Soroka and Donlan have the ball. Angus Lloyd gives it to Darcy, who hits Courtney. Hinch defending for their lives here, 10 metres from the line. Tony Ryan, Angus Lloyd's delivery on a plate, as it has been for the last decade. To Bolger again. Tarf biding their time. A lot of tired bodies on the pitch as we enter the final 10 minutes. Lloyd to Donlan. Carrying well. JJOD offers himself around the corner, but Lloyd decides to go blind again. Soroka goes. Lunny fighting at the breakdown, slowing the Tarf ball. JJOD met very well again by the Hinch defence. Nothing flashy about this from Tarf at the moment. Mick Courtney goes, he gets outside. Very powerful is Courtney, but he's tackled very well there by Wilson of Hinch. Lloyd again moves it into the replacement. Bolger. Matty Ray tries to take him. Peter Martin has the hand out for indiscretion from Hinch. He says, let's calm it down. Explains his decision. But Tarf, Ado showing real experience there, down to 13. Did ship a try through brilliant play from Hutley and Cairns, but they've shown their experience as title credential winners with the managing of that 15-minute period of going from 13 to 14 back to 15.
100%. They actually put the foot in the gas when they went to 13, which is interesting. But played the ball on the right part of the park, and now they're trying to turn the screw while Hinch have a man down. Huge 5 minutes coming up here. Bonus point also on the line, but winning the game is key here.
Donlan gets the call from Soroka. Tony Ryan is at front. Mick Kearney, Deany, JJOD. They go to Deany at around 50 in the line out, and Tarf look to get going. Simpson tries to disrupt, but this looks ominous again from Hinch, and Donlan will get his score. Will he? Yes, he will. And right on cue, Adrian Darcy called to win the game first and foremost, but Tarf get the fourth try and the fifth point. And they are in a very, very good position here as we enter the final 7.5 minutes. But great game management there again. And there's a reason Dylan Donlan has 17 tries in a season, 18 last season. The Maul is absolutely outrageous.
Yeah. I've been lucky enough to be a part of them last year, but Mick Carney really drives it in from his side, the knowledge that he has, and then Dylan Donlan does a great job at the back to get over. He rarely misses that chance.
Angus Lloyd is taking over the kicking duties here in Castle Avenue. Decent strike, but tails off to the left. 24 points to 14. Clontarf lead, the bonus point secured. 10 points the difference as we enter 6 minutes to go. Your Munsters 23 points to 14 up against UCD in Limerick. Plenty of movement across all the Energia All Ireland leagues. Death, taxes, and Dylan Donlan scoring from them all. I think Adrian Darcy is the easiest way to say it.
Yeah, please don't give him any more credit. He doesn't need any more. But both sides so far have been absolutely brilliant. They've brought a great game. to Castle Avenue today. I think they'll both want to kick on for the next 5 to 7 minutes, however long's left. I know Clontarf will certainly want to show what they're about, and Hinch will want to keep going and keep driving on.
Clontarf's JJOD contact lens to get back in. Really grown into the number 7 jersey. Former Wesley man. Been excellent since the turn of the year for Clontarf. Hutley finds good airtime on that as Deeney takes the ball very well in the air. Angus Lloyd says go to depth. Moves the ball out, and Crosby sends it to the backfield. Jack Milligan has now entered the fray. Takes a ropey enough pass. Gibson, slow ball for Energia. They try and move it around. They're going to throw it as Cairns does very well. Brace of tries untouched this afternoon when he scored the both. Gibson again moves it out. Josh Hanlon, as we said, former under-20 Grand Slam winner, is the Chukwu again. Lovely little hands. And McCall, not quite expecting that. Hinch trying to force her on. They probably do need to do that, but Tarf showing resolute defence here as we come into the dying moments of the game.
Yeah, Hinch definitely trying to force a hand a little bit. Some nice little play, but to that last pass, probably didn't need to be thrown. But very good defence from Clontarf. It actually has been very good all day. They've been joined up and aligned and been snuffing out some of the Hinch attack, which has been excellent.
Hinch have shown good variety in both sides of the game, on both sides of the ball. Lunny, McCall, Ray is a Chukwu. Brilliant all afternoon. As we said, round 16, a lot of miles in the legs of both squads. Both benches now fully emptied. Just over 3 minutes on the clock here in Castle Avenue. Today's coverage in association with O'Corian. Nacho Cladera re-enters. A lot of chopping and changing in the last 2 to 3 minutes as Adrian Darcy carefully examines whether Ballynahinch have 15 players in the field or 14, because of the Sinbin they do only have 14.
It's my eyesight, it's gotten worse.
Angus Lloyd with Chris Gibson on his toes feeds the ball in, and Tarf really been the winning of the game here in front of our eyes, set piece wise. And Soroka, Donlan and Bolger worth their weight in goal there, carefully assisted by the back five, who we don't have enough time to name. But
I think we give some credit to Ed Kelly there. I think he really worked it in the engine room. Now, Ivan Soroka, I think he's played close to 80 minutes here. An incredibly impressive performance from him as a loose head prop to play that much in these conditions with that many scrums and mauls. Really a hard gritted performance from him.
Soroka and Kelly, 2 80-minute performances along with Mick Carney. JJOD and Tony Ryan were both in the bin as the two. McCall's Kyle, tight head, and Zach at open side have worked tirelessly all afternoon. Yeah. Peter Martin sets the watch back on. Missed lift at the back, but it's claimed by the man who potentially missed the lift. Mick Carney sets up to take a carry. Met by Josh Hanlon. Donlan again with the clear out. Darcy on the outside. Courtney, that little front door option again has been a thread all afternoon. Tony Ryan puts his hand up to carry. Met again by Lunny and is a Chukwu of Finch. Lloyd looks for Deeney. Mark Best gets the grips with the Clontarf replacement. Lloyd again finds Kelly, who rides the wave of Matty Ray. Crosby, Tony Ryan met off the ball, and Simpson a little bit over eager. was going to get a shot in regardless there. And Tarf have an opportunity in the dying moments. Looks like they're going to go to the corner again. Tarf will finish out the season with a trip to Lansdowne on Friday, March 31st, before UCD come to Castle Avenue. Crosby decides to go early, and Darcy's on the way outside. Moves inside again. He's got Tony Ryan and he's inside again, and Tarf keeping everyone guessing. Peter Martin says that the ball wasn't turned over. Lloyd digs it out again. Soroka goes to King. King so elusive with ball in hand. Been very, very safe all afternoon. Soroka again carries. Lloyd, Darcy in at first receiver. Bolger again with a good carry. Lloyd looks to his right. And Darcy says, that's enough for this afternoon. And with that, Clontarf run out bonus point winners, 24 points to 14 over Ballynahinch here in Castle Avenue. Adrian, Darcy, sum up that second half in the game overall for us.
Yeah, it was an interesting second half. 3 yellow cards in the second half, which played a big factor in. I think Clontarf showing the composure to be able to play with 13 men, but still keep getting points on the board. And then showing how good they can be in the last 10 or 15 and closing that game out like champions do.
But from us this afternoon in Castle Avenue, from myself, Derek Foley, and Adrian Darcy, many thanks to Mr. Fitzpatrick, who was on, who was keeping us in tow all afternoon here in Castle Avenue. We will be back next Friday night or Friday, March 31st, for the meeting of Lansdowne and Clontarf. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon.